Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Today we're still going to be talking about subtraction and we're going to be using estimation along with base 10 blocks today to solve subtraction problems. Now, I remember at the beginning of the year, I asked everybody what their favorite math was and what their least favorite part of math was. And the majority of you said subtraction, that you didn't like subtraction, you didn't want to think about having to regroup. I remember hearing those words. And hopefully, after we learn a few strategies, it's going to give you a deeper understanding of what subtraction means and make you a little bit more fluent in subtraction. So, we're going to learn multiple strategies to help deepen that understanding for you. And hopefully, you'll be more successful or feel more successful with your subtraction. With our lesson today, you can use on our manipulative slide the base 10 blocks that I have there virtually for you. If you click on it, it's going to give you that link and you can just click there and it'll pull them up. But for me today, I'm going to use my dry erase board. So hopefully you can find a dry erase board, paper and pencil, or you can use those blocks if you would like to help you solve those problems today. It's going to be your choice. But for me today, I'm going to use the dry erase board. So I'm going to start talking about the very first problem that we have. And I want you to think about this problem in regards to what am I starting with? What is the whole? And if I'm breaking it apart, what am I taking away from it? It's kind of, I put this in relationship with an ice cream cone. I have an ice cream cone that's got a big, large scoop of ice cream on there. But if I wanted to break that into parts, I could take away the cone and only leave the scoop of ice cream. Or I could take away the scoop of ice cream and only leave the cone. So that's kind of what happens with subtraction. We're taking something that was all together and pulling it apart and taking something away from it. So for this particular problem, we're starting out with there are 437 girls and 282 boys in the soccer league. How many more girls than boys are there in the league? So we know that there's definitely more girls there. We know that 437 is much greater than 282, but we're wanting to see how many more girls there are. So I have to pull some of that number out of there, and I'm going to be pulling the number of boys away from the number of girls so that we can see what's left. That will tell us how many girls are actually how many more girls there are actually in the league than there are boys. So the first thing that I'm going to do is get a good estimate. Now, I want you to think about what we could round to here. If we want the best estimate, of course we're going to round to the tens. We've talked about that multiple times. But I need to have the best estimate? Probably not. I could probably just round to the hundreds to see if I'm even close. So if I'm thinking about rounding, I have to think about where that number is going to fall in the number line. So if I'm going to round to the nearest hundred, I'm going to look at my hundreds place value, and it's a 4. So I know that it's going to be between 400, the next hundred's 500. I'm going to be thinking about that benchmark number, 450. Is 437 less than 450, or is it equal or greater to 450? And in this case, I know that 437 is less, so it's going to round to 400. 282, I'm going to do that same process. I know that I've got a 2 in the hundreds place, so it's between 200 and 300. My benchmark number is 250, and I know that 282 is greater than 250, so it's going to round to 300. So I'm going to subtract 400 minus 300 to get 100. So my estimation is going to be 100. Now, I'm going to go to my whiteboard and I'm going to draw a picture of this problem. I want you to think about, will I need to draw both numbers like we did with the base 10 blocks with addition? When I was using the base 10 blocks with addition, I created both numbers. Do I need to do that? Do I need to create both numbers using those base 10 blocks for subtraction? Hopefully you said no, that I didn't need to draw both of them, but I am going to have to use both numbers, and I'm going to show you how here. Now, we've used this whiteboard with my other 2 live classes this week, so hopefully we'll get to use it again today, But I'm going to be using this whiteboard to draw my number out. So I know that my first number is 437. So I'm going to be drawing 400s. And again, my drawings aren't that great. I am so sorry, but when I don't have a mouse other than the keypad that's on my laptop, it makes it very hard. So I'm going to draw 400. I'm going to draw 3 10s and 7 1s. And again, you can draw those ones with dots, smaller lines, just so that you know that those are ones to help you out there. Okay, so I have 430, and then I should have 7 ones. Okay, now I know that the number of boys was 282. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and just change the color so that I can see the difference when I start marking out. I'm going to just start here with the ones. I have 7 ones, and I'm going to be taking 2 of those away because in my number 282, there is 2 ones in the tens place that I need to take away. So that's left me 5 ones. I'm going to move on up to the tens now. I have 3 tens, but I need to take away 8 tens. What in the world? I can't take 30 minus 80. So what would I do to take away 8 tens from 3 tens? Yes, I can make exchanges. So I'm going to come up here and make an exchange. I know that I can take this 100 block and break it into tens. And actually, I can break it into 10 tens. So I'm going to go ahead and put 10 tens here. Now, if I look at this number, can I take away 8 now? 8 tens? Can I take away 80 from 130? Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and start here, and I'm going to take away 8 of those. So there's 3, and then I need 5 more to make 8. So now I have 5 tens left. I'm going to move on to the hundreds now. I have 3 hundreds left, but I have to take away 2 of those because in 282, I have 2 hundreds that I need to take away. So now if I'm looking at what I have left, I'm going to come down here and write my number. I have 100 left, so I'm going to put that in the hundreds place value. I have 5 tens left, and I have 5 ones left. So I'm showing that there is 155 more girls than boys in the soccer league. So the next thing that I want to show you is that when we're doing a problem where we want to get an estimate, we got our estimate earlier, which was 100. I'm going to always restate the question to answer. I'm always going to restate that question. So in this case, there are 155 more girls than boys in the soccer league. So now that when I see that answer, I know exactly what that 155 means. And then I'm going to explain my thinking. When it asks you to explain, you're just going to explain exactly your thinking about the problem. What did you think about it? And how did you go about solving it? So everybody thinks a little bit differently about numbers. When we see numbers, we break them apart differently. We do things differently. We may use different strategies for that particular problem. So here's where you're just going to explain exactly what your thinking was and what you did. So I said I knew that my whole was 437, and I was taking it apart and removing it. Um, I was removing 282 from it. I drew the whole number that I was starting with, and I began taking it apart to see what would be left with the part when the part was removed. It should be when the part was removed. So when I took that apart, I saw that I was going to have 155 left. Now I want you to think about with subtraction. if we had an ice cream cone with one scoop on top, and I wanted, that would be my whole. That's what I'm starting with. I'm starting with a scoop of ice cream on top of my cone. But if I wanted to separate those and take them and put them into parts, I might say, I'm going to take the scoop away. What do I have left? I just have a cone. But what if I wanted to take the cone away? Then all I have left is the scoop. So it's pulling that whole ice cream into parts. And that's what we do with subtraction. We're pulling it and taking it out and putting it into parts so that I know what I'm going to have left. And again, you can draw these out with base 10, or you can use those manipulative slides to help you. So for today, your assignment is going to be complete your problem of the day. You're going to do IXL Math 3rd grade P9, which is still going to be estimation. I want you to go back because some of you did not complete your assignment for yesterday, which was P8. It's really important that you do so because I use those for grades. So you need to get those completed so that whenever your progress reports come out, you do have your grades that are appropriate to what your ability is to do the math. I hate giving zeros, but I'm going to ultimately have to give you zeros if you don't complete your assignment. So please go back and complete that. Again, I had several people that did not complete that yesterday. So please make sure that you're doing those each day so you don't get behind. I hope everybody has a great day, and I'll see you soon.